Welcome back to another edition of the Slab Lab. We are here in paradise. That's right, Paradise Valley, amongst the mountains with my man Biebs. That's right, multi-time All-Star, Cy Young Award winner Shane Bieber, he of the Cleveland Guardians. We're on the mend, we're on the bounce back, but as I have told you before, the Slab Lab is all about the science of the art on the mound. It's all about adjustments, and there have been plenty made here by my man Shane Bieber. So without further ado, Biebs, let's get into it, brother.
I'm fired up, thank you, man.
Right on, man. Take me through the decision, the conversations that you had. Ultimately, you understand, all right, we've got a big hurdle in front of us. I'm making the decision to have the procedure done, and I've got a really good idea of how we're going to attack this.
Yeah.
Leading up to that, you've been through some issues physically, but maybe not anything of that magnitude.
No, not like that. Dude, it was heavy. It was really heavy. Yeah, I've been struggling with arm stuff, mechanical stuff since I went down with a shoulder in 21. Yeah, it was a subscap. Finally had to address it in the back half of 21. Got it right. Like, shoulder's been awesome since, but like, I think I fell into some bad habits, like mechanically.
Sure.
And was like working through those in 22 and 23, honestly. And like 22, I think I had a good year, made all my starts, felt good physically, but like mentally, like on the mound, it was really weird for the first time like in my life really, but especially my professional career. I was like competing in big league games and like instead of like trying to read a swing or, you know, wondering what I'm gonna sequence off of what, tunnel what, off of what, I was like, oh, where's my arm? Like why does that feel? Why does that feel? That doesn't feel good. I don't feel athletic. I feel stuck. I feel whatever.
Feel slow?
Yeah.
Underwater?
Yeah. And that's hard to explain to somebody who's not felt that.
Who doesn't know what it's like. Yeah. It's like you're running in the dream. Can't go anywhere.
Yeah. And so I was dealing with that for like a year and a half, honestly. And all of 22. And that was probably like one of my better, I was not throwing as hard. But like the results, I had like a sub-3, 200 innings, made all my starts. And so I'm like, you know what, like, we'll stick with it. Like, it's pretty good testament to being able to compete, not feeling good at all. I'm trying to make some adjustments in 23, started to throw a little bit harder, and then I went down with an elbow in 23, rehabbed it, because it was slight, slight tear to my UCL. Rehabbed it, decided that was the best decision to make. I think in hindsight, yeah, I would still say that. Really happy with all the work that we put in and the Guardian staff, and made my last 2 starts in 23. Had an awesome off season. It was my first one at Driveline, and they helped me like pull the reins back, actually.
Really?
They helped me on my recovery days make them actual recovery days. They helped me refine my pitch shapes.
Well, so that's what I wanted to ask you about.
That's what you want to get into, yeah.
Yeah, because when we start to talk about having to make physical adjustments because of an ailment, right? You're still at a point where you're competing, and you're now trying to figure out how to adjust physically at the most elite level. That's something that I don't think a lot of people really give consideration to for athletes who are dealing with physical issues, that their need to adjust still exists. With their ability and their resources, the technology, we talked about motion capture data. Was your decision behind saying, you know what, let's rehab this thing. We're gonna be okay right now. We can rehab it because you are so mechanically sound. And that was really proven with the assessments at Driveline.
Yeah.
Did your ability to repeat play into the idea or play into the decision to continue
in 23
to
rehab and not just
not
hit
just
it surgically?
Mm-hmm.
I think definitely a little bit. And so I worked with Keith Meister in Texas, and Meister is a really good physician. He takes context into everything, and he's like, I mean, at your best, you know, you're 92, 94, repeatable delivery, like we can rehab this thing. The tear's not too bad, we should rehab it. You know, you don't want to always just jump right into surgery. And so we did that. I think it worked for the most part. And then had a fantastic spring training going into 24. And then at some point on opening day, for whatever reason, it was a little bit, It was inevitable. I got a lot of miles on it, and it opened back up in the same spot.
Shane Bieber getting his 5th consecutive opening day start.
That's a big deal.
It was really heavy for me. It was because it was called like the 4th inning in Oakland.
Yeah.
You know, a bunch of factors probably. The balls and the tack and the pitch clock and the rules and this and that and the other. For me, it was probably just a combination of everything on top of it. Just a lot of miles, you know.
Sure.
But yeah, Oakland, I mean, you know, opening night, it went really well, but like dry, windy, cold, slick.
Tough to grip the baseball.
And when you're competing in a big league environment, like throwing a slider down and away, like you got to stay on top of that thing all the way through. So probably a number of factors. Did that, I think I knew probably in the 4th inning, I'm like, oh shit, I know this feeling.
Really?
But it was pretty instant. Within like a pitch or two, I'm like, oh, is that it? And I'm like, okay, well, if that's my ligament, it's surgery. I'm not rehabbing it again. I'm going into my free agency.
So you're having that conversation with yourself
in
the 4th inning on opening day.
Yeah, I'm like, oh God.
And at that point in time, you're 2 innings away from ending the outing, which, by the way, my friend, was absolutely dominant. 6 shutout, 11 tickets punched.
Yeah, absolutely dealing right now. Dealing is Shane Bieber.
It's just amazing to think that in that moment, after everything that we've just talked about, here you are on opening day having put all that work in, and you are essentially making the decision like, nope, this is gonna be surgery. I've got a couple more innings to go. You would actually make another start, another dominant start on top of that.
Yeah, I had to know.
Is that what it was?
I had to know. And so I was like, all right, well, during the outing, I'm pretty sure I know what this is, but if it is what it is, what I think it is, there's no decision to be made. I have to address it surgically. I already did the rehab, thought it worked, failed. It was a good outing. Went in the next day, sore, different kind of sore. Like, oh shit. So for the next 3 days prior to my next start in Seattle, I'm deciding what I should do. And I didn't want to panic my family too. Like I was in denial. I think I knew in the bottom of my heart, but I was in denial, right? So I was like, okay, well, if that's the case, I know it's gonna be surgery. Let's find out if I can put some hot shit on this thing, distract myself, and maybe the adrenaline takes over.
Yeah, they're looking for another solid performance from their ace here tonight.
But from warm-up 1 in Seattle to pitch 83, it hurt. And it was super emotional outing for me. Like, I'm not too proud to admit I was tearing up in between innings, just like, because I knew what it was.
Right.
And it was like we were just gritting this one out almost as like a goodbye for a little bit, for a year and a half.
Wow. Wow.
And then, like, in a weird way, like, yeah, Hedgie will tell you, and he knew what was going on. Most of my teammates didn't, but because I just tried to
mask it.
Stuff it
because that's the kind
rug.
of dude you are, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I finished the outing, another good outing.
Tell you what, he has got the full arsenal on display.
He
Cutter,
does.
four-seamer, slider.
Look at that. I mean, he's got a great feel for it.
And that made it really difficult, because I was like, all right, I need an MRI. Told him I needed an MRI. Called my family. Kara's like, let's go, like, great job, like, so proud of you. And I'm like,
babe.
Yeah, I got to tell you something. So it was heavy, but
how did she take it?
Like, as best as she possibly could have. Super, super good. Immediately flipped into mom mode.
Sure.
Wife mode, super supportive. Like, all right, well, if that's the case, we're gonna get it checked out and we'll take it day by day. But like, this is, you gotta do what's right for you and your body, and you can't ignore this. Good job not ignoring it.
That's good.
We gotta address it. Super practical, as she usually is in adversity. She's really thankful for that.
Since 1901, this has happened twice, just twice, where a pitcher has started the season with at least 12 punch-outs with 0 runs over their first 2 starts, over 12 innings. It's happened twice since 1901. You are one of those dudes. Can you name the other one?
Bob Feller.
No, it's you too. You.
Oh, is it me?
It's you again.
Oh, no.
So that list just has 2 people on it. It's just you both times.
All right.
That's fairly solid.
I didn't know that, man.
With an elbow
I
in half.
appreciate you bringing that.
With an elbow in half,
Yeah.
you're doing this, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I wanted to just kind of highlight was going through an extremely traumatic moment in your career and still having the mental fortitude to be able to compartmentalize what you're feeling physically and go out there and let the strongest, most dominant muscle, the brain, do the heavy lifting. Like, how do you get there mentally?
That's a great question. I've always kind of considered myself pretty adept to making adjustments on the field and competing, and that's like my favorite part of what I'm able to do. So I wasn't ready to give that up. I don't know how I've gotten there, but it's helped a lot. So I'm excited to get back, man. I'm excited to get back on the mound. You know, it was tough. I was like rolling around spring training, telling everybody like, oh, this is fantastic. I feel 22 again last year. I'm 29 now. And it's funny now.
Still on the right side of 30. I know we say that jokingly, but we understand what that number, for whatever reason, means to people, right?
Everything felt 22, and then I blew out.
You felt 22. The metrics on the stuff were back to 20, and then bam.
Yeah,
it happens.
Fantastic.
It happens.
So I forget exactly what you asked, but I'm in a really good spot. I'm excited. I'm excited to go. We evolve as human beings, and especially in this profession, like everything's in front. So like I prefer to just like kind of frame my mindset into that and always looking forward, not looking back. You know, I've had some success, but I think there's more in front of me, and so I'm excited to get there, whatever route I have to take. And then to your question, like specifically like hammering out pitch design and all that, I'm excited to do that. And I think like I said, the surgery's helped refine my perspective a little bit. Like I'm excited to be able to do that and to play around. And as long as I take care of my health first and foremost and my rehab, and I put myself in a good spot to be able to play around in the lab, maybe I'll start calling it the Slab Lab.
That's it, baby.
Yeah.
That's it. Because that's where my mind goes, is I think to myself, and you being much smarter than me and being much more savvier than me, realizing I can't do that. But you give me a brand new ligament that doesn't have the wear and tear, buddy, let's see if it goes 100. Yeah. Let's see how much we're...
Definitely.
And you know you can't do that.
Yeah, with the Guardians, they've been fantastic from the time I got there in 2016, the time I made my debut in 2018, all the way up until now. Knowing me, knowing the guy I am, that I want to push my rehab, and they're the ones that got to pull, and they got to pull the right strings and pull me back. And so I think that's a fantastic, like symbiotic relationship to have. Like that's the way that I'm going to be my best, and put myself in the best position to succeed for them and for the team. And so there's always a balance, right? And so, like I said, as long as I take care of and keep things in perspective in regards to like my health and my build-up, and I'm not overdoing my workload on certain days, because I'm not even a year out of surgery yet,
right.
Then I'll be in a really good spot and be ready to rip some shit.
Knowing that they know you as good as anybody, and are as comfortable with you, and vice versa, it feels like it really is the best possible scenario for you as an athlete, for them as an organization, but for you as a human being, as a man.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I was a free agent not too long ago for the first time. And man, we were excited when Cleveland came calling, because it just made sense on a ton of different levels. So many intangibles that came with Cleveland, knowing the staff, having that relationship, knowing my teammates, the coaching staff, the rehab staff, everybody, Arizona spring training, got a baby on the way, being able to be in the comfort of our home, knowing the community and the fans and the stadium and the staff there, the crews, it goes a long way. And so we're super happy to be going back, and that relationship's been awesome.
And folks, the best is yet to come. Number 57, Shane Bieber.